I've been on go since a kid. Now I got house full of kids. Where I keep when he is sick. Keep making that money flip. I've been on go since a kid. Now I got house full of kids. Where I keep when he is sick. Keep making that money flip. Way up.
So we got our water pump out. Now, in this lower flange, you can see all this coolant residue. This is where it was leaking from. This is why we're replacing it. So, kind of sad because the rest of the pump was pretty good. This is the better of the two. This is the one that only has the one little sensor on it. There's ones that have two sensors on it. Those are way more expensive, and there's not really aftermarket options for them. But these ones, they have plenty of aftermarket options. This is also the outdated version, the 111H model. So I think the newer one is like the 111P. So this is our new water pump. I got this from shopdap.com. You can pick this up pretty cheap. The kit's like $100 cheaper than the OEM one. And it's actually a really good brand. It has an aluminum water pump still. Even the impeller is aluminum. So good. It's a good quality brand. Make sure you want to get the new union pipe when you do this too. You never want to reuse this union pipe. It'll almost always leak if you try to reuse it. I have seen people reuse belts and stuff though. So it's up to you whether you want to change the belt or not. But, yep. Pretty good brand. Link for this will be down in the description if you are looking at see how much it would cost to do this on your car. This is a 1.8T. This is going to be the same as a 2-liter turbo. They have both pretty much have the same exact water pump, unless you have one of the weird models like in a Beetle. Beetles and GLIs have a different thermostat housing that has like the additional sensor in it. That's the more expensive one. There's not an aftermarket option that I'm aware of for those. So we're gonna go in there. We're gonna clean up all the faces or the faces of the block where the gasket sits, and make sure everything's cleaned up well. All the O-rings on the hoses are still good and don't need to be replaced. We'll check all those, make sure there's not going to be any leaks. These for the most part are easy to replace after the fact. This one, if you mess this up, you have to take it all back apart to replace that. And if you mess up the union pipe, you have to take it all back apart to replace it. So do not mess these two flanges up. So now we're going to put the thermostat in. I already put the belt on. Sorry, I forgot to start filming, but new belt and the belt pulley bolt are on. So now we got to snake this up in there. So we got to put it up on the belt first. Alright, we got it up on the dowel pins. Now we got to go in and tighten all our bolts up. I'm just snugging these up by hand, and then I'm going to go in and torque them after. Alright, I got to review the... I know the torque spec is 9 Newton meters. I just can't remember what the order is. I'm going to go back and watch real quick and double check that. Alright, so I got my little dinky torque wrench. You can get this at Harbor Freight if you don't want to spend the money on a 1/4-inch torque wrench. First one though we got to do is over here. Remember, this is 9 Newton meters. It's a little bit tricky to do it with this tool, but it's not the end of the world. Still works pretty good. And then you want to come back up and do the top one as the last one. Top middle. Perfect. Our water pump's nice and tightened down. Start putting our flanges back on. I got to get the drive belt back on. I do have to take off 2 of the water pump bolts because the graph, or the INA water pump, the INA water pump comes with all the bolts already in the water pump, so you have to pull 2 out so you can get the drive belt back on. So now I'm going to pull off my little yellow cap for the belt. This is a guide to help you get the cap on, or the belt on, sorry. And I'm going to use the bolts that were in the old water pump because these are a different style. They got the bigger heads. The ones that are in the new one, they don't seem like they're quite as long as the originals. So, and they just look different. So I'm going to use the OEM ones. For the love of God, make sure you plug in every single plug you unplug for this job if you are going to do it. Also, don't use me as a guide. Go watch Shop Dab's video, Humble Mechanics video. They have how-tos on exactly how to do it. I'm just kind of doing it for a friend, help him out, because the dealership wanted to charge him an astronomical amount just to do this job, and I mean, which is to be expected. It's a dealership. That's how they make their money. It is what it is, but when you got people like me that don't mind doing the job, saving a friend some money, it's a little bit better of a situation. But the carbon buildup on this engine is actually not that bad. You can see. I told him we'll look in it when we pull it off to see if it needs anything, but I'm not even going to worry about a carbon cleaning on this. It's just extra money that he doesn't need to pay right now. These Mark 7s are so good, man. They just don't have the carbon buildup that the Mark 6s had. It's Volkswagen really got better about that. The water pumps are still junk, but hey, man, you can't have everything perfect. You got a reliable engine. That's, what more could you ask for? I'm just wiping off any dust or debris that may have stuck to these while they've been out, because they do have oil residue on them, and it's easy for dust and debris to stick to them. And I don't want that getting sucked down in the engine. Well, I don't know when the camera shut off. Sorry if missed all that intake going back on, but it is what it is. That kind of sucks, but nothing I can really do about it now. Alright, we're on the home stretch. I gotta put coolant in it, get all these tools cleaned off, put the intake back in, put the cowl back on. I'm also going to clean it up with brake clean, make sure that there's no residue, coolant residue, so if there is a leak I can see it.